Hi, welcome to Marker Board Videos. Today's video we're going to talk about how you can watch a video lecture and take notes so that you probably never done this before. I know that you've watched videos before, who hasn't? But to take notes and to have it as a lecture for a class is a totally different thing. So I want to take you through my expectation for your note-taking for video lectures. So first thing that you're going to see is you're going to see whiteboards, and I use usually about 5 or 6 of these whiteboards per lecture, sometimes more, sometimes less. But the first thing you're going to see is a title or a heading. This is going to tell you what the video is about and specifically what this board is about. So you're always going to want to write down the title. That's really important. Also, as good scientists, we always date everything that we do and we write in ink. So write in ink. Make sure that you have today's date on it. Title it with whatever the title is that we're studying, and you may want to write note-taking guide or video notes, something like that, so that you remember what it is you are actually taking notes on. You're going to find a lot of terms. I'm going to try to always write those in red. So when you see it in red, that means it's really important. It's a term. It's something that you need to know. Sometimes I'm going to write a definition. It'll be either a full-length definition or an abbreviated definition. And I may write a full-length definition, but I may say it in different words. So it's important that you not only pay attention to what was written, but also what was said. In the past, I've had students who've tried to watch the video lectures without listening to them, just by watching them and copying down on the board. And you will get some very valuable information in that way, but you won't get everything. So please make sure that you not only write down the definition that you see on the board, but also what you hear. If I say it differently, it's because I want you to think about it in your own way. I want you to try to put that together in your own mind. And so take a minute and also write it down in your own words as well, not just mine. See, when you take a test or a quiz, it's not going to say what's the definition of velocity and have 4 different choices that are my words, but I need you to take and process that and put that together in your own brain. I'll also give you some examples. Examples are very important also. You may or may not want to write those down depending on how good your memory is. But if writing down one example will help trigger the memory of what the term means, then please write that down. Now, in science and math, you're going to find a lot of graphs and tables and charts. Those usually deal with a specific experiment, a specific trial, a specific incident, a specific set of problems. So they're very important, but what's more important is that you see the relationship. For instance, if I did a graph that was a distance time graph, and you see that the line for distance time is a straight line, that's going to tell you some really important stuff. It's not important that it's 3 miles per hour or 50 miles per hour. What's important is the relationship. And so you may want to copy that down. Use graph paper, or definitely use rulers when you do graphs. But when you're jotting it down from your notes, just to take your notes, just draw a quick one. If it has a straight line, draw a straight line. It has a curve that opens up. Do that kind of curve. It's a horizontal line, draw your horizontal line. Same thing with tables and charts. It's important that you know how it's set up, but the data that's actually in it is specific to one experiment or one trial for an experiment. And so the data isn't the important thing. The trend is what's important. So don't spend all of your time stopping the video and copying a graph that may have 20 points on it, but rather draw a quick one and give yourself the trend, the general overview. You're also going to find some diagrams. I'm the first to tell you, I am a lousy artist. That's a car, believe it or not. So I don't want you to focus again on the quality of the diagram, but rather on what content I'm trying to tell you. What am I trying to tell you by that diagram? Why is a diagram a better way of saying it than just words? Because some of us are very visual and we need to see a picture. While my pictures aren't the best, they will give you a general idea of what's going on. And finally, I'm going to relate all kinds of stuff to stories. Those of you who've had me for classes before, and even if you haven't, it won't take you very long to learn. I'm a storyteller. It's what I do. The way I relate graphs and diagrams to terms is through stories. You do not have to copy my stories down. When you hear my story, I want you to think to yourself and ask yourself, is the story the important thing? Or is it that Mrs. Foote is trying to get us to think about a way that we can relate the same information to our own lives? And do we have our own stories or our own examples that will help us understand this? Not so important that you write down my example. If you can find one of your own, that's critically important, because that means you already have that experience in your brain, and we want to hook new information to old information to help you remember it. So that's basically how do you take notes with video lectures.